Hey, thanks for checking out my interview with Oceans Over Airplanes, a great band out of Crown Point, Indiana. They got some fantastic new music they talk about in this interview, plus you can check that out on the link below on their Bandcamp. And they talk about what it's like just to be a band and make it in the music world. So sit back and listen in. I think you'll enjoy it.
We are busy writing now. We're booking shows and kind of trying to tour on the release of Young Nights, which is our new EP, which came out in last week of November of 2015. So it's still fresh enough that we still want to tour and get out there and promote those songs. But we've also been writing a lot of new material. So we're busy writing as well when we're not out on the road.
Sure. I know you played some of the new stuff as well at the at recent shows. Kind of describe your new sound for me.
Yeah, it's unlike our old sound. It's dancier. I think it's more user friendly. What you guys say?
Yeah.
It's sort of more. I think accessible is a good description. I guess it's not as. I don't know.
I was going for the metal when I was writing. I guess I'm on a different page. But.
I would have to say, yeah, it's like Joseph, we're just trying to make it more accessible. Jeff has these great roots that are like in ambient and kind of like post-hardcore style that's out there. I come from a kind of like emo and like pop kind of upbringing. I forgot.
I don't really know.
Joe has a good rounded. He has kind of like that pop like influence as well. So I mean, we've kind of been looking more to our influences and just trying to make them kind of mesh together more.
Okay.
It's kind of like our.
I think the rule of thumb is just listening and making music that we want to.
Is that a challenge going from? Because I listened to some of your 2011 stuff in 2013. It definitely has kind of the punkier roots to it. Like I definitely could hear like a brand new sound to it, or almost like I got kind of like an Alkaline Trio, which I love that band. I kind of vibe to it as well. But the new stuff, like you're saying, and hearing at your shows, it has more of a dance beat to it. Is it difficult to kind of shift your style a little bit at this point in your career?
I think it's kind of just refreshing. We haven't really. This group that we have, the three of us, and then our other guitar player Joe. This is the first time that we've had like almost a year and a half of the same group of people. We've never put out like the same EP that's had, or like an EP that's had the same core group of guys on it twice. So I guess it's always kind of been constantly changing stuff. So we haven't really had stability. So it's interesting, at least that hopes that we're taking. Things that were on the last EP and trying to take a lot of those same kind of things that we were starting to touch into, and now see how it translates over to the new stuff. Because we kind of had the last EP written before Jeff joined.
Okay.
And then Jeff had to come on and we're like, make these songs better, put like your style on them, and then crossing our fingers that like, okay, hopefully his style then and what he brings truly meshes with them. We weren't trying to tell him like, this is what you have to play, this is what we want the song to sound like do what you would do.
Yeah, pretty much, like, the songs were okay, they're kind of bad, actually. Then I came in, and they sounded pretty good.
I was digging them. I enjoyed them a lot. So, whatever you did, it sounds fantastic. I'm sure they were good both ways. Lyrically, can you describe what the new work is about?
The new stuff, I'm still kind of honing in on some of it. I'm still a big guy in relationships. I'm happily married. I have 2 kids, but still something about relationships I feel is something that people can always, relate to. And I just, there's some things I still can't get over, ideas that I can't get over.
Romantic relationships.
Yeah, some of it has to deal with friendships as well. So, for me, it's still involved in that vein is what's still striking me at the moment. So recently, it's been more about relationships that look good on paper, but really when they start off and begin, you realize it's a terrible idea and you might not know how to get out of that. There's also different type of. I'm also like interested more in like people. I guess just bad relationships. None of it's like stuff I haven't been in, so it's like just an outsider looking in. It's like you kind of seen this movie before.
Yeah.
You can put someone through it. Then that's what I'd like to kind of do more with this music, because the longer that you're around and the longer you see people and the way that they interact, like I know Joe and I, that's the saying that we've seen, we say like all the time, with like friends that we have. It's like, well, we've seen this before. We know how it ends.
Mhm.
Listen to us, or you can go through the heartache on your own.
That wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's more of the vein that's going on. That's been just striking a lot with me, and I think a lot of that kind of just influences. I've been listening a lot to the 1975 in the past like year and a half, like solid. I just can't stop listening to it, and I think it's just that same kind of thing. I know Maddie talks just sings a lot about his relationships, and it's just striking a chord with me. So I'm just continuing that same kind of thing.
Is it a challenge to balance touring and the family life?
Yeah, it can be, and luckily I have a wife that's super understanding, and she wants me to do this. She just knows that hey, this is who you are. It's not just like some random hobby. And then for our girls, she really likes it too, because it's like I'm still living off the street. I have this job that pays the bills and all that, but it's like if I can show that to my girls that you can still follow something that's not the beaten path, that's something that is your passion, then
Yeah.
you go for it. So
That's an awesome example.
Yeah, so it wasn't like anything. And my parents are a lot more supportive now, oddly enough, which you would think they would maybe say, hey, you should maybe finally button this thing up and go. But they're like, my parents are all in about it now. But like earlier on about it, my parents never really had that like, this wasn't really what they thought you could do with your life. It was
Sure.
like, oh, this is a cool hobby. I'm glad you like music. You paid for all your music classes, no problem. You did concert band. That was great.
Like, get a haircut and a real job.
One of those things, sure. No, I know what you mean. I think when you start playing in front of the big crowds, though, I mean, when you see there was, at the recent Lucky Boys Confusion show, I mean, there was over 1,000 people there, I think. So when you start seeing the crowds come out, and I think that definitely helps too.
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest shows I know that we played. I mean, we've been lucky enough to like House of Blues and Metro and Bottom Lounge like within the past year, but that was truly like a crowd that was out for music.
Jeff suggested stage diving.
Yeah, and I was going to do
It was tempting. I wanted to. I didn't know how the crowd would respond. I didn't want
to hurt anybody. I didn't want to hurt myself.
That is a dilemma when you want to do something like that. Well, speaking of big shows, you're going to play at the Launch Music Festival and Conference in a couple of days. My guess is you're going to be heading out there pretty soon.
Yeah, we're leaving Wednesday night, Thursday morning. It's called Launch Music Festival in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and it just features a bunch of up-and-coming artists, and then it's also got this cool conference that's tied in with it as well. So we'll be attending panels and everything. So it's much like, like a South by Southwest or something like that. So we'll be attending panels, and then we play Saturday night.
Wow.
So we're super excited about that. But it's cool. They have a lot of cool people. Usually Kevin Lyman's out there speaking on panels, so it's pretty cool. So it's a big networking thing as well. We've been lucky enough. We just played with an artist that's called Civil Youth. They're from Philadelphia area, and we just played a show with them when they came through Chicago. And so it's kind of cool because we're both playing the same festival. So it'll be cool that they're going to try to bring people for us. We're going to try to, come and see their set too. So it's cool to see how networking is already kind of paying off for something like this out on the East Coast. This will be the furthest out east that we've ever been.
Wow. Kevin Lyman, Warped Tour, am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Would that be, obviously Warped Tour is a launching point for so many bands, and then there's a place where a lot come back to. Something like that, is that a goal for you guys?
It would be. I'm not sure where we fit. I just always feel like Warped Tour is always, I feel like they've kind of, I don't know if it's who they promote these days. Like sometimes you think Warped Tour and I think punk and ska and, that's what I know Warped Tour used to be. And then they kind of got into like hardcore and screamo, and it seems like they keep on coming back with revivals. Like when they get really excited, about who they're bringing back. Like a lot of times it's just like these old school punk groups. So I'm not sure where we fit.
Pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year it's pretty pop punk heavy actually. I think.
I just heard about Screamo Revival too. Was there anything about that? Screamo band? You guys heard about that? Yeah.
I have not. No.
Screamo. It's coming back. Everything comes full circle, man.
Yeah, I mean, for a while there, for like 3 or 4 years, it's kind of like hipster music and a softer rock, and now I'm definitely hearing like the harder stuff, which is more what I'm into, is starting to make a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah, you see a lot of, oh my gosh, what Under Oath just got back.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So you're starting to see some of these bands kind of come back and trying to make an name. Or Thrice, I mean, I'm super excited about Thrice coming back now as well. So, and then our brand new is going in for this summer, so that's going to be fantastic and their new record. So,
Oceans Over Airplanes. Where does that name come from?
we would lie to you if it had an awesome meaning behind it. So it was.
sometimes we all majored in oceanography, marine biology.
No, we.
Depends on who you ask.
Big rock guys, big ocean marine. Yeah, I don't even know, to be honest.
Yeah, no, we were just constantly trying to find something that sounded cool, and I spit out Airplanes Over Oceans. I think I was looking at like a photograph or something like that, and then another band member at the time was like, flip that backwards, just say Oceans Over Airplanes. We're like, yeah, that we all kind of had silence, and we're like, perfect. Because finding a band name is like one of the most terrible things in the world to go through.
Oh yeah.
Either it comes super quick, or it's you just sit there and then you feel like idiots because you're something that's like almost so trivial that who cares what you're called. But you know, when you look at the whole marketing you're just trying to then look from all the other stuff you have to do between branding and marketing and all that stuff. It's like, is this name actually going to stick in people's minds? So it has. People have enjoyed the name, and like I said, unfortunately, we used to give like this big sad story of how it got, and it would get kind of awkward, and then we're like, that's just a joke. Hopefully you have a good sense of humor, and you have a dark sense of humor, so now we just own up to it. It's like, yeah, this sounds cool.
That's good. Well, like when I first saw the band name, I thought Airplanes Over Oceans would make more sense, but at the same time, it's kind of bland. Oceans Over Airplanes makes you think. It's more different, unique, and I think a better name. So I like the name a lot. Being an independent band, what's that like?
It's exciting and it's tough. You know, I would lie to say that it's it's as amazing as they say it is to be an independent artist these days. We have this debate all the time, just because I feel there's more music out there than ever. So that's great. You have an opportunity of finding out about bands you never would know about, and that's wonderful. But now that everyone has a laptop and some recording gear, you can get so many bands that are out there that you just love stuff. And that's kind of like the
market is oversaturated, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it used to be dominated by 4 or 5 bands, even like 15 years ago when Napster got big and everything. But now it seems like everybody's got their own niche. Yeah, there's a few guys, of course, a few pop artists that are kind of just grab all the teenage girls and the moms or whatever. But it seems like everybody's got their own crew that follows them.
It just seems like growing up with, if you wanted to record, like you saved up your money and you really polished yourself and you spent all that money that it would cost, and you have something, and then when you sent it in, then people understood, like, yeah, these guys, they're sacrificing, they're in it. Now it's like, you're just kind of like another person just sending another demo, so it's kind of hard. But so I go both ways, with everything, just saying, yeah, it's great to be out there and it's great to do that stuff, but you just have to find like new ways now of separating stuff. And I find that's kind of the unfortunate thing, is that like if you're not like a huge person on like the internet, you want to market yourself that way. I feel like the social media thing has been this new part. I remember Yellowcard talking about it when they put out their last album, and they were just like, we have to start doing all this stuff with Twitter and Facebook. They're like, we never had to do any of this stuff. It was good music. People caught onto it, and music spoke for itself, and it was a different time. And it's funny that even bands like Yellowcard and like Early November are just talking about like all this stuff that they don't want to really have to do.
Yeah.
When they first started making it, this was not part of the equation at all. It's just, if you had the heart to get out there on a stage and play a bunch of shows and record your own stuff, it was enough to get a buzz going about you.
That's a
So-
super fascinating perspective. What do you get to like rub shoulders with a lot of bands like Yellowcard that had their time? They're still going obviously, but bands like that, do you get a chance to run into them and kind of pick their brain a little bit?
Every once in a while, we played with Hawthorne Heights one time at a bowling alley, I think it was, and it was funny. I mean, just 4 years ago, they were playing Arena,
Yeah.
a huge band, and then they were playing Central Everywhere. It was weird to hear them play their huge songs that are huge hits, but they're still going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, some of these bands, you get the chance to talk to them all the time. These guys, they seem really closed off in a way. I don't know, almost like they're, I don't know if they're burnt out or sort of jaded maybe at that point in their career. I don't know. Yeah.
I always find that to be like really fascinating about like kind of the career arch of how these bands like Hawthorne Heights, you're playing in front of 20,000 people in a decade later. Even if your music's better than what it used to be, which I think a lot of their new stuff is, you're playing in front of a smaller crowd. Just kind of fascinating to me.
Right. Yeah. What are they going to do? What else are they going to do at that point? That's their livelihood.
Yeah.
But with those guys, it's great because they have. I mean, at that point, they've established their connections. They know booking agents, and they know people that take out on the road, and they know tour managers. They got there. They've gone through all those growing pains. So now it might not be at arenas, but the one thing I guess I could say that is exciting about this time is that you keep on hearing that if you have between 1,000 and 2,000 fans, like true fans, you can make a living doing this. Because those are the people that are going to buy all your new shirts when they come out. They're going to buy your album. They're going to come see you live. Those are people that are going to spend $100+ on you a year. So it's like if you have 1,000 to 2,000 of those types of people, math is easy. You're making 2,000 of those kind of fans. That's $200,000 that you made. You split it 4 ways. You can live on $50,000. I mean that.
Yeah.
So that's the one exciting thing when they talk about independent music these days and being independent musicians. You can just get to 1,000 or 2,000 people. This could make sense. So that gets exciting. It gets you putting out stuff over and over again that you realize, I don't need to be selling 1 million records to have this be my day job. Because I know we've talked about individually, but if I can just make that much a year, I'm fine. I'll still have everything else that I have right now. That's all I need. As long as when I'm punching the clock, it's picking up a bass or sitting and recording much more than just going into work and going through the motions.
Awesome. My last question. What's the plan upcoming year for Oceans Over Airplanes? What are you guys looking to do?
Yeah. No, we're gonna. This year we're going to try more of a singles model in terms of releases. So we're going to do an A and B side that should hopefully be out end of May, beginning of June. And then we'll continue just with Weekend Warrior stuff. So we'll be going out, up to 3 or 4 days at the most, but try to do that like once a month. And then hopefully in the fall we'll do like another 2 songs and then another. So we've written about 7 or 8 new songs right now.
Wow.
So we have a catalog so that we can start spacing them out and do that, but we just want to stay fresh in people's minds instead of disappearing. We kind of have had that in the past where, we release an EP and then a year and a half before we put anything else out. And today's listener, it's not going to fly. We don't mean that much to people where they're just dying. It's not like brand new where they can wait 5 years before they put something else out and everyone's like, yes, new brand new. So, we know where we're at in that stage of the game, so we're going to just try that. So we're going to try to stay busy with that. I know Joe is a big proponent of us trying to get more on our YouTube, so hopefully 1 or 2 solid music videos coming up to support the new singles. And just keep on playing. That's our big thing now. We're just going to keep on looking for shows with kind of people that you mentioned, like bands that have made it on some level and they're still kicking it, or bands that are on the rise, and playing these venues and these places where people are coming to see music. I guess you can get really burnt out when you book this bar or that bar, and then it's really people who just want to drink, that really don't care about you. That was the coolest thing with the Lucky Boy show. Is like, while I know, 90% of those people were in there to see Lucky Boy's confusion and not us, and that's the reality we have to deal with, but those are music lovers,
Sure.
people that want to go see a show. They weren't there just to drink. They were there first most to pay $15 to get them through the door, and then like that's an opportunity for us to connect with like people like you that are music lovers and are open to like, all right, I came here early, let's see what these other bands are like and let's see what's going on. So those are the kind of shows that we're looking for, and like we couldn't thank Lucky Boys enough for letting us have like an opportunity like that.
Well, there's definitely. I mean, I like to watch the crowd when like different bands play. They were into it. There's some clapping. There's a lot of people into your music, and it was great. So I really enjoyed your performance, and I look forward to watching your new stuff. Where can fans get your new music? Is it on like your Facebook page, iTunes? Look for the album and songs being dropped.
You can get it on Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, okay.
Yeah.
It's
just oceansoverAirplanes.bandcamp.com.
Perfect.
That's that. And then
on YouTube and stuff.
yeah, you can stream it on YouTube.
We post things on our Facebook, links to all that stuff.